We have course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, course 5.
Wow.
One of them, we have our prerequisites, because before we want to show up and receive love in any man's life, we as women, we have to go back foundationally. And the reason why, because God created us as incubators, we incubate a lot. And a lot of times we have to go back to our daddylessness. We have to go back to our rejection. We have to go back to the women in our family that taught us, baby, use what you got to get what you want. You know what it is. We have to go back.
Do you desire love but feel, what's the point? Do you find yourself in repeated cycles? Do you long to be his preferred choice, yet continually reduced to an alternative? No Green Beans, a woman's guide to becoming the ultimate 5-course experience, is metaphorically written to depict the woman as the dimensional dining experience she was designed to be, and not a mere side of green beans. This brilliant transformational writing challenges and compels the woman to discover her worth, position her worth, and present her worth to real men who desire, pursue, and capture. Pre-order your signed copy today at www.nogreenbeans.com.
With me. Hey. Great evening, everyone. I was just welcoming Instagram. Can you all believe I am on Instagram tonight as well? They're always saying, you don't show us any love. Thank you all for coming in. Come on in. Can you all tell I am super duper excited? Great evening to you all watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and IG on this evening. I am Dr. Atia Stevenson, and my purpose is to simply ignite, inspire, and impart. And I do that by serving women and helping them discover their worth, position their worth, and present their worth to who? To real men who desire, pursue, and capture. Because ladies, can I tell you, when a man is really into you and he's ready, it doesn't take him a long time. It does not take him a long time. So I help you how to discover your worth, position your worth, and present your worth to real men who desire, pursue, and capture. Not a man that's going to have you on ice, not a man that's going to have you wondering where we stand, because if you have to wonder where you stand, the question is you don't. We are just keeping it 100 on this evening. I am super duper excited to have you all with us on tonight. We are going to be delving into our live book reviews. We're going to go through the whole entire book. We're not going to get into the meat and potatoes of it, because the purpose of it is for you to get the book. And there's absolutely no way that I can go over all of this in our setting. So first and foremost, if you would like to purchase your copy, you can go to www.nogreenbeans.com, www.nogreenbeans.com. So we're going to go ahead and get started on tonight. We're going to be talking about the prerequisite. We're going through chapter number 1 on tonight. And I do apologize. I can't see any of your comments, but I promise you, I will definitely reply. If something is resonating with you, go ahead and put it in the chat, or you can send us an email, because one thing that I did learn just from hearing feedback from the book and reviews and things of that nature, women are like, I just thought, it was going to be just a good read, but I couldn't get through it because I couldn't stop crying, and things of that nature. So if you have something that's personal, we certainly understand that. So go ahead and send us an email at support@nogreenbeans.com. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, why the title No Green Beans? So many people ask me, what in the world is No Green Beans? Where did you come up with that? So it's actually my heart's desire is that when you conclude the pages of this writing, that you would have a great awareness of the vastness of your beauty, your creativity, your brilliance, and all that you are. And the positive, my endeavor as you read the pages of this book is how to help you and give you a blueprint to express and to present your non-sexual value to a man. So that's what No Green Beans is. It's a metaphor for no sex, okay? And I really teach the premise of that is because I say it all the time, sex can be a blinder. Sex can be an intoxicator. How do you know when someone is really into you? There's other parts of us besides sex. You can connect emotionally, you can connect mentally, you can connect psychologically. There's so many other ways that we can connect. Okay, so it's really helping you understand, and helping you be that soft, unforgettable, irreplaceable woman and the desire of a non-sexual experience until that time comes, okay? And in the world we live in today, many allow ourselves to be reduced to an all-you-can-eat buffet, a picked-over buffet. You let men, you're in people's rotations, and allowing a man to take a piece of you and what he wants and leaving the rest of you, which is oftentimes the most important parts of who you are. So that's why it's No Green Beans, a woman's guide to becoming the ultimate 5-course experience. You are not a mere side of green beans. You know how you go to a restaurant and you're like, well, what would you like to have? And what you really want on the menu is it's not available. And you're like, I'll just take the green beans. No, you're worth more than that. You are the ultimate 5-course experience, that when you present yourself to a man, that he will be able to feast off of you and say, girl, I can't get enough of you. And he's not talking about your sexual prowess. He's not talking about how sexy you are. And all of those things are important. However, it's not the standard in which a woman should be presenting herself to get the best from a man. Okay. All right. Y'all ready out here? If y'all ready, just go ahead and put in the chat ready. If you are ready, go ahead and put in the chat, I am ready. All right. Okay. So first, we're going to talk about our dedication. Who is this book dedicated? This is dedicated to Tia, aka Brown Sugar. That was my name. AKA Brown Sugar, the 15-year-old me that was hidden. I was buried. I was misused. Why, you all? Because I housed the delicacy that I had no knowledge of. right? So oftentimes people say, how did you come up with this? It was my mistakes. It was my failures. It was my, girl, how could you be so stupid moments? Like you just let him play you again. It was those things, right? The same things that allow the readers and make them feel uncomfortable. I went through that process as well. And I'm here to show you and to help you to get to the other side so that you can get what you deserve and what you desire. It's also dedicated to the current me, to Atia, the one that has failed, learned, and evolved, failed, learn, and evolve, and that has learned to embrace failure as an event and not a person. Okay. It is also dedicated to you, my beautiful gems and jewels, a masterpiece, handcrafted with love, touched with grace, housed in strength, created in immaculate imagery, adorned with royalty and poised in femininity. But guess what? It's also to my strong and resilient kings and priests. And I'm going to be honest, and anyone that knows me will tell you that the foundation. Yes, I am for women understanding our value, but I am a champion for men. Okay. I believe that men are God's idea. I believe that they are our leaders in the earth. So, although I'm helping women understand their value, please understand that you would never, ever, ever, ever hear me dishonor a man. Ever, because that's not who I am. Okay. So, this is also dedicated to my strong, resilient kings and priests. And we apologize for not embracing all of us so that we can embrace all of you. Who are you talking about? The you that was taught from adolescence that real men don't cry. Therefore, communication and vulnerability is unheard of. So you're emotionally unavailable. The you that loves just as hard as we do, but is afraid that you will get hurt again. The you that deep down yearns for a meaningful relationship and simply desires someone just to love you through it. I'm talking to kings and priests right now. It's even for you, even the little boy that is trapped inside that you have no knowledge of. It's to you, the you that wants to be loved, but can't due to a foundational betrayal of a parent. It is to you that at your core desires to be held accountable and told no and not yet. Kings and priests, we honor, salute, and esteem you. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the mantra. There's a mantra on page 5, I believe, of the book. And ladies, this is what we live by. I am a firm proponent of building a foundation. I firmly believe that you can only go where as strong as your foundation is, right? I totally believe from living our lives from the inside out, not from the outside in. Okay. And because of that, we have a mantra, ladies, that we live by. It's a commitment that we have made to ourselves. So, mantra number 1, ladies that have the book, I need you to read it with me. Mantra number 1, I am committed to transformation through self-awareness, authenticity, vulnerability, and transparency. Women of value, we don't wear masks. Women of value are able to understand and embrace that we're not perfect. We are perfectly imperfect, right? We are perfectly imperfect. Put in the chat, I am perfectly imperfect. Mantra number 2, I am committed to discovering and rediscovering my value. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to the process of my being that allows me as a woman to show up in the best that I possibly can. I am committed to discovering the best in me that I can do what? That I can present the best of me. I'm committed to that. Mantra number 3, I am committed to taking responsibility for my own actions and not blaming others. If he would have called me back, I wouldn't have slashed his tires. If he didn't do this, I wouldn't have did that. No, 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 ladies. We are committed to taking responsibility for our own actions. Mantra number 4, I am committed to speaking only that which gives life to myself and to others. I am committed to speaking only that which gives life to myself and to others. So I don't mishandle people because I'm upset. I don't speak to people if they mishandle me in the same manner. Why? Because I carry honor in my being. And because of that, I only speak life because I'm a life giver, right? Mantra number 5, I am committed to discovering the courage to look within and to accept the hard but liberating truth. Ladies, it was me. So many times we can blame men. So many times we point fingers. So many times we have this long list of, I need you to do this and you're not doing this and this is what I need you to do. But ladies, I need y'all to lean in. Mantra number 5 is I am committed to facing the hard but liberating truth. Because what I tell you, when we face the truth that is within ourselves through transparency and authenticity, it may be challenging for us to accept, but I promise you, gems and jewels, it's liberating. I promise you, the moment you decide to stop blaming everyone else, the moment you decide to take off the mask, the moment you decide, you know what, you are out of pocket, speaking to yourself, and we're going to make some changes, it's liberating. I promise you it is. I have to face that hard but liberating truth. It was me. I was the manipulator. I was the provoker. I kept following him. I just kept hitting below the belt. I was so upset. I was coming from my lower self. And because he wouldn't argue with me, I am the one that are doing all of these crazy things that make me operate out of my lesser self. It was me. I was the user. I was the seductress. I knew what I was doing. I really didn't like him. I just wanted his money. I was the plotter. I was the one who sabotaged. It wasn't him. It was me. I was the mistress. I was the conspirator. I conspired it all. I knew what I was doing. I strategized it. I got everybody who I wanted to join in. It was me. I did it. I set him up. I kept him from his children for no reason because he moved on. I slept with this friend to get back at him. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But you fill in the blank. Ladies, say it was me. If you can think of something right now that had nothing to do with him, but it was your own actions, put in the chat, it was me. It was me. Number 6, I am committed to valuing, forgiving, loving, honoring, and respecting myself. Mantra number 7, I am committed to valuing, honoring, cherishing, and respecting my body. Therefore, I would not allow it to be used, abused, and or mishandled. That's mantra number 7. Mantra number 8, I am committed to reclaiming the fragments of my soul that I gave away, that I suppressed, that I neglected, that I abandoned, or that I'm simply ignored. I am committed to reclaiming the fragments of my soul. Because can I tell you, we can't think about dating if the fragments of our soul are everywhere. You still can't forgive the person from 5 years ago. You still can't forgive the one who betrayed you. You still have a soul tie with someone that you were with 10 years ago. Sweetheart, you are all over the place. Can I admonish you to put up a do not disturb sign and honor yourself and reclaim the fragments of your soul? Honor yourself and reclaim the fragments of your soul, because we can only give someone what we have to give. And all of us are not, we don't even have, that's why we give 1/4 of ourselves. We give 1/2 of ourselves because parts of us are all over the place. Mantra number 8. I challenge you to be committed to reclaim the fragments of your soul. Mantra number 9, I am committed to respecting all kings and priests in my sphere of influence as a lifestyle. I don't care what they do. I don't care who did what. Simply remove yourself, because when you carry honor in your being, there is absolutely nothing no one can do to make you come to where they are if they're operating from a lower place. There's nothing. you will remove yourself first. Before I dishonor you, before I treat you how I'm treating me, you will recognize my absence and my silence because I carry honor in my being. I don't do tit for tat. I remove myself, right? Mantra number 10, I am committed to resisting the temptation of allowing my influence, my affluence, my status to deceive me from discovering my truth where I need to make healthy adjustments. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many figures you are earning. I don't care what your name is. If you have a toxic and marred soul that is trauma filled, my love, I beg of you, please resist the temptation of living behind that, because that causes us to wear masks. It causes us to live beyond, beneath something who we really are, because we need these things to validate us, right? We need all of these things to validate us. So I challenge you to commit and honor yourself enough to resist the temptation of allowing anything to make you feel that there's no need for change and adjustments in your life. Okay, can we commit to that? And we're going to go over that, because if we're going to get the best out of this writing, out of, this process, it's important, ladies, that we look at us. It's not about the man. It's not. It's about us, right? It's about us. So course number 1, it's the appetizer. And what is an appetizer? An appetizer is a small dish of food or drink taken before the meal or the main course to do what? To stimulate one's appetite. That's what an appetizer is. We're talking about how to become the ultimate 5-course experience. You're too much to be consumed in one setting. Don't you dare allow a man to consume you in one setting. Sweetheart, there's too much for you, in you. You're two-dimensional for that. You have depth, you have height, you have width, you have vastness. Don't you dare allow yourself to be consumed in one setting. That's why assessment is so important. Because when we do proper assessment, ladies, then we will be able to properly assess a man and say, your palate is not even trained to handle a woman like me. Your palate, and I'm getting ahead of myself, because the book is a metaphor in itself. The book is a metaphor in itself. It's getting ready to get real good around here. But don't you dare allow yourself to be consumed in one setting. And if you find out that a man is trying to consume you in one setting, you're going to have to remove yourself. It's too much to you. It's too much to you. And that's what that buffet is about. Men will take what they want from you and leave the rest. Don't you dare. Put in the chat, no green beans. Put in the chat, no green beans. So chapter 1, the prerequisite. What is a prerequisite? A prerequisite is a thing that is required as a prior condition for something else to exist. A prerequisite is something that is required as a prior condition for something else to happen or to exist. As we see in the definition, a prerequisite is a requirement. It's a contingency, right, for something that is to come. A driver's license is a prerequisite to operating a motor vehicle. A bachelor's degree is a prerequisite for a master's degree. And my precious gems and jewels, the discovery of your value is a prerequisite. It's a prerequisite. If you don't understand your value, if you have not honored yourself to take enough time to discover who it is that you really are, can I tell you, you need not be dating. Can I tell you, sweetheart, the prerequisite. That's why our relationships are in shambles, because we put our relationship over in the corner as if it doesn't comprise and consist of two people. A relationship would only be as healthy or as toxic as the two people in it. It's not an entity by itself. So gems and jewels, You owe it to yourself as a prerequisite to identify who it is that you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you're going to present that lack of value and lack of identity to a man. And what happens when we have a lack of identity? We give people permission to give us their identity. So some of your identity is a man that calls you out of your name, a man that only wants you for sex, a man that has multiple women. And because you don't have an identity, then you've taken on his and you've given him permission to see you through his eyes. No. So when we think about value, have you ever wondered where our values are derived from? What shapes our esteem? What shapes our identity? What shapes our worth? And as we move forward in this process, you're going to see how important foundation is. You're going to see before you want to give all of this to a man, before we want to know how in the world do I get a man to stay, before we know how to be this ultimate 5-course experience, can I tell you, my loves, it is derived from understanding your value. Okay? The beliefs that we hold are an important part of our identity. Beliefs are critical because they reflect who we are and how we live our everyday lives. How we live our everyday lives. Okay? How we live our everyday lives. And sometimes when we go through life, right, there's different types of values. There's 3 areas surrounding value, okay? One is we have a pronounced value. That means I know who I am, right? You ever meet someone, they're just so confident. And even you can see it in a child sometimes. You know, they're just so confident and it's pronounced and it's marked. And that has been shaped and molded a lot of times through early and middle adolescent years, right? And then we have a recovery of value. And we talked about that. And oftentimes when we have to recover our value, that means because somewhere along the line, someone has taken it, whether it was an abusive relationship, whether it was molestation, whether it was rape, whether it was abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. Whatever it was something that stripped us from our value. We had it. Sometimes it could be unforgiveness, right? It could be unforgiveness. I gave my all in that marriage. I gave my all to that man or to that woman. And here it is. I got nothing in return, right? So your value, it needs to be recovered. And that's a part of reclaiming yourself. That's a part of reclaiming yourself. And last, we have the discovery of value, right? And some of us, we're well into adulthood and we've never discovered our value. We've never really taken the time to say, who am I? What do I like? I really don't like that. For the majority of our lives, we've always gone to the beat of everyone else's drum. Every time you're in a relationship, you take on the whole personality of that person. Whatever he wants, it's wherever she wants. And you don't ever use your voice and you don't have a standard. Anything goes. You're extra clingy. You don't even use your voice. You don't present anything. Oftentimes, that is because of a lack of discovery of value. And I need to put a pin right here, ladies. I did a post the other day and I was talking about how men need standard. They need accountability. If not, they'll get bored. Whenever a man gets to the point and to the place where he can run over you, you've lost him. He's already gone. He'll be there just to be there for his own personal gain. But men are wired for accountability. Men are wired for that. And a real man will accept that. Sometimes men don't because they're not ready for it. They want a yes woman. right? And I don't mean I'm not getting into the whole submissive thing. I'm not, because of the truth be told, I 1000% believe in submission. But oftentimes we don't understand what submission is. Submission is not being a yes woman. Submission is coming under and coming in alignment and seeing your priestly king in the state of authority that God has placed him in, right? So I do understand that, but sometimes when we have a lack of value, we don't even take time to figure out what we want. And then sometimes, the hurt and the trauma makes us really feel like what we want. That toxicity is what we want. I remember when I was, younger, and I mean, listen, catch me if you can. And I was really deceived, you all, because I was deceived into thinking me doing me, right, was actually this big, this bold, this thing. Like, ladies, let me put a pin right here. We were not desired to operate and move like men do. A man can sleep with 3 to 5 women in one day. We're not wired like that. And so please, I beg of you, get rid of this toxic deception that I can do what a man does. No, we cannot. And I can guarantee you that if you're living your life like that, there's a part of you that is closed off. You're emotionally unavailable. If we trace you to your soul, there's great trauma. Why? Because we are not meant, we're not wired for that. So I have a challenge for you ladies. Before you allow anyone to take you outside of who you were created to be, and you start doing him like he's doing you, please remove yourself, because you're going to do greater harm to yourself. We were not wired like that. We weren't wired like that. We weren't. So honor yourself enough to remove yourself from a situation before you self-deceive and self-destruct and say, I'm going to do what he does. Honor yourself and operate from your higher self and remove yourself. The greatest gift you can give someone that does not honor your presence is the gift of your absence. It's not playing tit for tat. It's the gift of your absence. Why? Because I understand who I am. We're talking about a prerequisite here. I understand who I am. And before I do a tit for tat and treat you how you treat me, and if it's not coming from a place of honor, because I honor myself, I'm going to remove myself. Because we'll self-destruct, ladies, trying to be how men are. We will self-destruct. Okay? So my journey of discovery and rediscovery, I tell a lot of stories in here. I'm a master storyteller. I love telling stories because a lot of the time, I am here because of the things that I have gone through. It's the things that I have been processed through, right? So I'm not here talking at you. That's why I can help you get to a place, because I had to walk through that way. One person's journey creates the path of another. And you may ask, how can one tell if she has yet to discover or rediscover her value? We can tell by our commitment to self. We can tell by totally assessing our actions when they scream low value. That's the only way. Ladies, we have to learn how to do introspection. And we have to do self-assessment when our actions are screaming low value. And you may be the only one that can hear them. But take time and do assessment. And what is screaming low value? Chasing men. When you're doing all the initiating. There's a chapter coming up, and I forget which chapter it is, but I talk about the GPS, because I've had so many women ask me, how do you know if a man is really into you? Simply let him drive. That's it. That's going to be really good. Simply let him drive. And you determine if where he's taking you is acceptable. And if not, you simply exit the car. That's it. You exit the car. You do assessment, you go for the ride. So if you're going for the ride, if you're riding shotgun, you're not in the driver's seat. And a lot of times we're self-deceived, ladies, and we're in relationships with ourselves for years, because you think just because he's in the car, he's driving, but that's not so. You will only know a man's intentions when you fall back. The definition of desire is pursuit, not in response to. Put it in the chat. The definition of desire is pursuit. So if a man is not pursuing you, but yet he's responding, you may have to ask the number one question: who's driving this car? Right? You may have to ask yourself that. Okay, so how do you know when you're screaming low value, when you're chasing men, you're doing all the initiating, you're giving up your prized possessions way too soon? You're not allowing the man to see any part of you but who you are in bed, basically begging him to stay and having no boundaries, meaning anything goes. You're bigger than that, ladies. You're worth more than that. And those things scream low value. Do you not know that a man can detect a woman of value or the lack thereof? Can you know within 3.5 seconds, a man can size you up and know whether he could sleep with you or not? I'm telling you, I have many male platonic friends. And literally they tell me, like, number one, it's really disheartening because I've never heard these days so many men saying that they have to turn down sex. Because we as women, we're just throwing ourselves, our prized possession. We're just throwing ourselves in men to the point where they have to turn it away. And that shouldn't be. It should not be. And a man can tell. And I've heard plenty of men say this. And we also have a chapter that's called Real Men, Real Answers. And I spent about 2 years doing a survey, interviewing and surveying men from all walks of life, from everywhere. And I was asking them, what are the 3 top things that you need in a woman? It's in the book. And I give you their real answers. And the top 3 things was loyalty, commitment, and respect. Sex was there, but I think it was probably about 2% out of all the men that I surveyed. And why do you think that is, ladies? Because men can get sex on a corner. A man can pick up the phone, whether he knows you or not, have sex with you with no connection, never see you again, and don't even know your name. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. Not even know your name. We're talking about value here. We're talking about value here. And so when you realize your value, then you understand you just present yourself differently. Again, I've heard men say, I knew from the gate that I can get that. They know it. And real men are not attracted to that because men need a chase. They need some type of challenge. And that's not saying we're playing hard to get, because if you're interested in someone, you want to let him catch you. But standard and boundaries are critical. You blowing a man's phone up and he's not answering. Are you kidding me? You calling him 5 and 6 and 7 times and he's not answering. Are you kidding me? He's moved on and you're stalking his page, making fake pages and looking at his stories. Are you kidding me? And it's not their fault. It's us as women that have to come to a place of value where we understand that when I know better, I do better. When I understand who I am, I present myself differently, period. Period. Okay? And you have to walk with your head held high. I walk with my head high. Why? Because I know who I am. And it speaks, ladies, that I know my worth. that I know my worth. A sign of value, you're welcoming, you're bright, you're cheerful. And I'm not talking about personality here, because everyone are not extroverts. Anyone that knows me, I will never meet a stranger. I am an extrovert. And you can be an introvert, but you can still be welcoming. But when your countenance is heavy, guys, I was talking, I had met a gentleman, I think it was it was somewhere, I don't even remember. And it was small talk. And it was amazing because he was such on pins and needles. And I was like, what's happening? What's going on? He was like, I'm sorry. He said, you're just so cool. And women are just not like that today. And I was like, wow, do we really have to be like that? Right? You can still be welcoming and things of that nature. Okay. So do you know, again, that a man can detect that? Another prerequisite, right? Another prerequisite is respect for yourself and others. That's another prerequisite, because if you're going to be dating, if you desire something meaningful, right? And let me put a pin here. I don't ascribe to the date 'em all, sis. I mean, to each is its own. My personal, because I can't date. I can't allow that many men in my space because I'm sacred. Number one. And women, when we have this concept, date them all, sis, there's a way that you can do proper assessment, right? That you can do proper assessment and not date everyone just because you're bored, and things of that nature. Okay. So another prerequisite is respect for yourself and for others. To intentionally disrespect others, it's a sign of operating from your lower self. Ladies, when we honor ourselves, right, we're not going to disrespect women. I don't care who, it's not about what others do to us, right? When you understand who you are, you're not going to meet a man and let him talk about his ex-wife or his present wife and his children's mother like a DOG from the choice that he made. Now, sometimes it's relevant. But ladies, you have to understand. I wonder what her story is. Because can I tell you, men will, if I see you dogging your children's mother or other women, and it's not a compliment to me because you don't treat me like that. No, that's in your being. And oftentimes we just listen to whatever men say and then we join in. A woman of value does not disrespect women. A woman of value doesn't have the thought process. If she was doing, if she was doing what she needed to do, he wouldn't be over here with me. No, ladies. No, that's coming from a place of your lower self. If a man is married, if a man is knowingly, and you knowingly, if he lives with someone and you let this man come over anytime, if he was doing what he needed to do, he know where it is. Ladies, let's come up. Because I wonder what would happen if all of us that knew these men that we were dealing with, the ones that are married, the ones that are in relationships, I wonder if we sent them home. I wonder what would happen if we sent them home, if we said to them, you know what, I'm too much to be a side piece. I don't care how many flights you take me on. I don't care how many countries you take me to. I don't care how you lace me in designer bags. No green beans, because my worth is costly, but it's priceless. I've heard some women say it's better to cry in Dubai. Is it really? Is that a thing? Is it really better to cry in Dubai? We're talking about ladies operating from our higher self, because you know what that says is that you are sold to the highest bidder. And the last time I checked, you are a gem, you are a jewel, you are priceless. There's no cost to who you are. There's no cost to who you are. Don't you dare let a man put a price tag on you. It's better to cry in Dubai. Women don't leave, and knowingly this man has 3 and 4 women in a rotation, and you know when he walks out that door that he's going with her, and it's okay because he pays the bills. Ladies, 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 you are the label. Please don't sell your soul. Don't sell your soul. You are priceless. You're worth so much more. We're talking about a prerequisite. That if a man is not honoring you, that you can walk away and leave it all. And when you're a rarity, gems and jewels, we are rarities. And let me put a pin in it, because when you are a rarity, you are okay with knowing you're not for everyone. When you see a rare jewel or a rare antique, you're not going to find that everywhere. So there's going to be times when people are probably going to skip over you because you're not what they're looking for, because they may want something easy. They may want something light. They may want to drive through. I forget which chapter that is, but what type of experience are you, ladies? What type of woman are you? Are you a 5-course dining experience, or are you a drive-through? You only open when it's late. You're served in a brown paper bag, and when the man is done with you, he throws it away. Put in the chat, no green beans. Put in the chat, no green beans. You're worth more. You're worth more. Put in the chat, I am priceless. I'm costly. I'm priceless. Our value begins when we are younger, and we're getting ready to wrap up. Is it 9:50 already? We're getting ready to wrap up. Our value actually begins, ladies, when we are precious little girls, right? The little girls, you know, when your father told you how beautiful you are, or maybe not. The little girls, when your father would put you up on his lap and throw you up in the air, or maybe not. The father that went on daddy-daughter dates, or maybe not. The father that brought you flowers to teach you how to be taught by a man, or maybe not. And this is where I talk about the importance of foundation. Because oftentimes when we as women, when we have daddy wounds, ladies, when we have wounds of, it prevents us. It prevents us from loving in a holistic way, and from being loved in a holistic way. Many of us, you know, good men get fumbled all the time. Good men get fumbled all the time because we would rather want something that's toxic. We're only it's not good unless it hurts. What level of toxicity and trauma is this thought process derived from? I'm here to help you tonight, because we are beautiful. We are God's gift in the earth. And when we operate out of our godly function, ladies, then we have the ability to be the greatest influence in a man's life. But our influence can't be used for manipulation and control. It can't be used, you know, with our sexual prowess. Can't be used for those things. A woman of value uses her influence for good. Remember, we honor all men, all kings and priests in our sphere of influence. And using a man is not honoring him. Using him for only your personal gain is not honoring him. Sleeping with him when you know he's married and he has children is not honoring him. I don't care if you don't know that woman or not. She is you. And you expect to have something? She's you. She's you. And the reason why he's complaining, oh, all the time, because marriage, real marriage and real relationships is work. It's going to take two people that are committed. So he comes to you when he wants to let his hair down. He comes to you when he desires your experience, your sexual experience. He calls you when he has an itch for your scratch. And I talk about this also, ladies, and I promise I'm wrapping up. It is 1000% realistic for a man to be into what you bring sexually and not be into you. It's 1000% realistic for a man to crave your experience and want nothing else to do with you. 1000%. So in closing, I want you to know that fathers play a key role, ladies, in our psychological development. They play a key role in our confidence and our abilities. Our relationships with our fathers or lack thereof are critical to our perception of value in men. The photographic image of what our homes look like plays an enormous role in our homes and in our datings. A lot of times, if our dad was not there, we don't, and this is why a lot of times you hear women, say, I don't need a man. And whenever I hear women say that, it's normally derived from two places: that she's never had a solid, loving male figure that made her love and appreciate the male presence. Oh, I can't wait to talk to my dad. I need to talk to my dad. I want you to meet my dad. She doesn't know that because her dad probably wasn't there. She's had a bad experience. She's seen him do some things, or she's still broken, marred, or scarred from past failures of men, maybe including her father. And so whenever I hear women say, I don't need a man, it's clear to me that that woman has never been presented with the importance of a man, the value of a man that goes beyond financial gain. And I say it all the time, like our father helped us communicate when we were younger. My father was a single pastor, and I remember, my sister's on here now and she could attest, he would call all of us in the living room when we were 9, 10, 11 years old, through our teenage years. And he would call all of us into the living room and not only ask us how was our day, but help us communicate, help us to work through what we were feeling. And I say to this day, my father helped me understand the value of a male presence. You will never hear me say, I don't need a man, ever, ever. Okay, so ladies, I want you to know that you matter. You are deserving of someone that will love, honor, and cherish you. And when we reference the ultimate 5-course experience, we are talking about a woman that operates from her whole place. A woman that is holistic, spirit, soul, and body. That's the ultimate 5-course experience. And for us to be holistic, ladies, we must be healed from trauma. There's no getting around it. We could put makeup on it. We could put degrees behind it. We could, do all of this, whatever we desire. We can cover it up with all these different masks we wear. But ladies, if we are not free from trauma, it's going to affect every relationship that we are in. So it's impossible for you to present the best of you because you've yet to discover the best in you. So my challenge for you this evening is to honor yourself and get healed. To honor yourself and to get healed. That's my challenge for you. That's my challenge for you. And another part of trauma is when good men do come, you self-sabotage. You self-sabotage. You do something to push him away, push her away, push him away. emotionally unavailable. So that's my challenge for you tonight. That is my challenge for you tonight. And the prerequisite, what is the prerequisite before we can do anything, before we can present ourselves, before we can have this magnetic connection that we desire, right? So this process probably won't be for you if you're resolved in doing you, meaning, you just want to use men, and you're not really about your process. You don't desire something meaningful and lasting. It's probably not for you if you're still selfish. It's probably not for you, this process, if you're blaming still everyone else. Is probably not for you if you're not ready to discover the courage that helps us be better women. It's probably this process probably is not going to be for you. But it is for you if you say, I'm ready. I'm ready to discover the best in me, that I can present the best of me. I'm ready to stop blaming everyone else. I'm ready to stop going in a circle. I'm ready to stop, dating the same man with a different face and a different shape and a different build and a different state. I'm tired of the same pattern coming around to me, and it all ends in the same thing. If that's you, then we're ready to go on with this process. Okay. So again, ladies, I am committed and resolved in being an instrumental tool to brings holistic healing, because the level of healing and the level of brokenness that I was processed through, it was painful. I'm not going to tell you any lie. And oftentimes we don't want to go to that place because it's too painful, but we don't have to stay there, but you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge it, because when your beloved comes, somebody that really wants to love you, you have padlocks in different rooms of your house, meaning your soul. You have different padlocks. You can't go in there and then you're triggered when something happens because you've not been in that room in 15 years. You've not been in that place in 10 years. So how dare someone else tries to come in? Ladies, I challenge you to free your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions. If that means you have to put a do not disturb sign up and commit to yourself to being the better you, I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to do it. I challenge you. Okay. So if you have enjoyed this, I'm telling you, we are on to something amazing. I'm telling you, No Green Beans have been changing the lives of women everywhere. You see the reviews. I mean, just some things even in secret that women send me. I mean, it is just absolutely amazing. And so if you would like No Green Beans to serve you in a greater capacity, if you want it for your book club, if you want it for your girls' night out, for your singles events, live workshops. I do live workshops as well. And I mean, women all over are just loving it, loving it, loving it. Because when we're in a live workshop setting, we can go a lot more into detail. Okay. So if you are interested, go ahead, go to www.nogreenbeans.com and then go to Ask Dr. Atia and fill out that information. Also, we are going to be launching a Gems and Jewels Inc., a Gems and Jewels community, which is going to be a membership community where we are really going to get intentional about presenting the best of ourselves. So if you would like to join our waiting list, please go to www.nogreenbeans.com. Go to Ask Dr. Atia and go ahead and put your information in. If you have a question, and I need y'all to lean in. If you have a question or anything that you would like to discuss and you feel like, this is not for the chat, it's not for social media, I'm being processed through some real serious stuff. That's what I'm called to. Right? I don't believe everything is for social media. Sometimes healing is gruesome. It's ugly. You understand what I mean? Go ahead and send us a message. And we would love, love, love to serve you in that capacity. Okay. So the next time we are going to be discussing chapter number 2. What is chapter number 2? Oh my goodness, you all. What is it? What is it? Hold on. I got it right here. Listen, if you don't have your copy of No Green Beans, get it. Get it. You don't want to hear about it. You want to experience it. I have not even touched I haven't even touched the depth of what's in this book. I've had women tell me, I tried to read it and I just couldn't because I couldn't stop crying. I hit a place. It was so meaty. It was so much in it. I just had to stop and take bits and pieces. Listen, this is a blueprint, ladies. Okay. This is a blueprint. So, chapter number 2, let's see what we're going to be discussing next time. It is dining etiquette. That's it. Dining etiquette. That's chapter number 2. And we're going to be talking about if there's etiquette in dining, clearly there should be etiquette in dating, right? There is just some things we just don't allow. Ladies, there is etiquette when you're a woman of value. And I mean, let me make a disclaimer, because I know in the world everything is high value and soft life and femininity, and that's fine. But when I speak of high value, it has nothing to do with the number of figures that you earn. It has nothing to do with the degrees that are behind your name. When you are a woman of value, you simply understand who you are and you live out of your higher self, and you have discovered the best in you to present the best of you across the board. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say high value. So clearly, if there is dining, if there is etiquette in dining, clearly, ladies, there should be some etiquette when we are dating. Okay, and we're going to help you do that. Until next time, I love you. I love you. I love you. Go ahead to www.nogreenbeans.com and grab your copy. I love you all tremendously. Until next time, peace. Remember to discover the best in you so that you can present the best of you. You all have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.